I wonder if gold makes people think this IAM is more expensive than it is. Hello and thank you for clicking on this video where I'll be sharing my experience with the CCA CRA+. First of all, I'd like to thank CCA for sending this IAM in exchange for my honest opinion. All thoughts and opinions are my own. So the biggest question for this video would be if the plus in the name signifies an upgrade to their CCA CRA, or is there even a difference in the sound, because in terms of design, shape, accessories, cables, it's all pretty much the same except for that gold reflective plate, which I'm not a fan of as it stands out for all the wrong reasons, but fit and comfort is the same as the CCA CRA. So if you're interested to know more about all those aspects, I'll leave a link to the video of my CCA CRA experience for you to check it out. But one thing I did notice was that the CRA Plus, at least for my unit, does not have driver flex, while my original CCA CRA does, so something to take note. And with that all said, let's go straight to talk about the sound. For context, every time I mention CCA CRA, I'll be referring to the original, and the gold will be known as the CRA Plus. For bass, the sub bass on the CRA Plus has been reduced slightly, but there's still some rumble and growl in the track. By nature of the entire presentation being brought forward a little, more on that later, impact sounds a little fuller and punches a bit harder. It adds a little bit more thickness to the bass, which I felt was lacking from CCA CRA. Just imagine fondue and the marshmallow was the base on the CCA CRA, and for the plus, it's like the chocolate that's covering the marshmallow, just adding a bit of thickness to it. But I think they've added a bit too much thickness now, to the point where bass guitars just sound a little bloated. Once again, another exaggeration, but that's about the best I could describe my feelings when I listen to the bass on the CRA Plus. So it's a plus and minus situation with the sub bass and mid bass. For mid range, they brought the mid range slightly more forward now, and that makes for a slightly more intimate sound presentation compared to the CCA CRA. So it helps with the details and to cope with the amount of bass elevation, and I think this is where it's a slight improvement over the CCA CRA in terms of vocal prominence and placement amongst the rest of the sound. For treble, if you found the treble on the original CCA CRA too piercing for your ears, the CRA Plus has the treble slightly shaved off, but not by much. However, that does impact on a couple of things, including resolution, which I'll get to later. So trumpets doesn't sound as clear or open as they did on the CCA CRA. So in a way, this would be great for treble sensitive people, but in the presence of all that bass, I wish there was a bit more bite on treble to cut through that bass, because it made instruments sound a touch more veiled or covered in chocolate. For imaging and resolution, so everything mentioned earlier, especially on the treble, impacts the resolution and imaging a little bit. The details on the CRA Plus sounds a little blunted, and it's not as distinct compared to the CCA CRA. Don't get me wrong, it's still there, and for a $15 IAM, it's still good enough. But when you're talking about a plus, I feel this is another minus. The sounds just blend together a little bit more on the CRA Plus. So if you'd like to hear more details on the track, then the CRA Plus might not satisfy your needs. All of the above also makes for a slightly more intimate presentation compared to the CCA CRA. For source similar to the CCA CRA, I'm getting to about 8 to 9 o'clock dial, but you can turn it down if you feel the sound is too in your face. And on my phone, I still have about 20 to 30% left of volume to spare. So for me personally, there's a lot of plus and minuses in the sound profile that doesn't necessarily make this an upgrade to the CCA CRA in my humble opinion, but rather a different sound profile that could be an alternative to the CCA CRA. They should call this the CCA CRB or something instead of the CRA Plus. So if you're looking for a little bit more sub bass, a sound that is touch wider and a slightly more open sound due to the sharper treble presence, which also helps in the resolution, then I still go with the CCA CRA. If you're looking for something with a bit more punch, a more laid back presentation in terms of treble with a bit more vocal presence, then the CRA Plus would suit you better. For me personally, I still prefer the original CCA CRA, however being $15, it won't hurt as much to get the CRA Plus than getting an alternative in the higher price brackets. However, I'm curious to know your thoughts if you have both in the comment section down below. Do you prefer the CCA CRA Plus to the original CCA CRA? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that all said, that concludes my experience with the CCA CRA Plus. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, do consider hitting the like and subscribe button. That will help the channel a lot, and I truly appreciate your support. Till the next experience, take care and happy listening.